Hey, this is Rusty with EndGame Fishing. Today we're going to talk about probably my favorite lure definitely for King Mackerel, but called mahi and other things on it. It's the Mackahoo by Big Nic Fishing. And really what it is, it's a dead bait rig. So what you're going to do is I use a ballyhoo. Some people use cigar minnows. I highly recommend using ballyhoo. They're just more durable, and we'll get to that in a second. But I want to talk about this rig, why I think it works great, and then I'm going to show you how to re-rig one, because if you start using these, you start catching kings, you're going to be re-rigging them. Really what makes this thing different is this mechanism here. You got the jig head here and you have the J hook. What you're gonna do is this J hook actually hooks into the head. So what it does is when you hook that J hook in there, it's solid. So when you hook your ballyhoo, your cigar minnow, or whatever it is that you're gonna use with it, it's gonna stay in the same position. So 9 out of 10 times, you hook that ballyhoo in the center of his head, right in the middle. You drop it in the water, it's gonna swim right. It's not gonna be rolling side to side. It's gonna look really natural. But that mechanism there, being able to lock it in the head, that's the key to it. So, first of all, let's talk about why you're gonna have to re-rig them. As you can see here, we caught a couple kings the other weekend, and you catch a decent sized king on these, they're gonna mangle it. So see how that hook is, kind of sticking out there and the wire's kind of kinked up there. You're not gonna wanna run this again. I re-rig them all the time, and I'm gonna show you it's real quick and it's super cheap. Couple of things you're gonna need. The wire that's used on the ones, brand new out of the pack is surf strand. It's 7-strand wire, 60-pound test, a camo color. You can find these in any tackle shop. The other thing is this J hook. It's got to be this exact model of Mustad for it to lock into the head. It's a Mustad 4.0, size 4.0, 3407 SS-DT, 2X strong. You're also going to use a number 4 size treble hook. I think it's black nickel, and a small swivel, strong swivel. So first of all, this is how I do it. You need a couple pairs of snips. I mean, this is just a little trick, but if you push that wire back through here, it's a lot easier just to snip it. It comes off really easy. A lot of times I'll reuse the hooks, if they're still good. I'm gonna put a new one on this one. Same thing on this one. I just push it back through. If not, then you got a little short piece of metal that you're dealing with. So, other thing, J hook, same deal. Unravel it, use it again. So anyway, we're gonna start from scratch here. I've got everything I need. So with the wire, I pull off about an arm's, both arms length, not all the way out. Just want to clean in, so I'm going to cut that tip off. But here's the thing, when you look at these swivels, these treble hooks, they've got a flat end on them, a flat side. You're going to go through the hole. I'll pull it down to about here, and then it's very simple. you're just gonna go around. I go about 6 times. And then I'm coming right back through. Then I pull it tight. And I've never had one of these come off or do anything odd. This part, getting these treble hooks the right distance apart for me is kind of critical, because if they're too far apart, this trailing hook here, I let them go free. I'll show you, I'll rig this thing up at the end here. But if it's flowing free, it's gonna hit the end of that tail and it's gonna catch it. It's not gonna swim right. So typically what I do, I have a couple marks here that I use, but I've got a ballyhoo here, so I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about with that in a second. So same deal, you're coming through, but you're coming through this way on the flat side. And I'll show you why this is important when we're done. I've got my marks here. Depends on what size ballyhoo you're using as well. I use medium large, same deal. Gonna go around about 6 times, 5 or 6 times, come back through. You know, I used to be kind of obsessive about getting this thing super pretty right here, but you know what? I don't think it really matters. It's really just, you know, doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. All right, next is your J hook. You're gonna come through like this. Got my marks. So you come through there, you're gonna hold it on the back like this. I'm coming around, same deal, about 6 times. Then I'm coming through here. So, we're good now. I'm gonna put the jig head on. There's a hole right through the center there. Typically I can hit it. There it went. That worked. Okay, now we're good. And you know, it looks like a small swivel, but you know, you don't want it too big. I mean, you're fishing with light tackle, so this is going to end up being like a figure-8 knot. So, you know, I've run it through. I'm going to come around, and I'm going to come right back through here, like that. I'm going to pull it tight. I'm going to grab it, my pliers here, and I'm going to snug it up. I'll snip it off. I'll leave a little because you don't want it. You don't want it to come loose, but so basically you're all re-rigged. It's straight now. So reason why I'm so particular about the links is, I'll show you. When I take this ballyhoo, you're gonna hook it underneath the chin. And you're gonna hook it right under here, and you're gonna hook it through the head. You gotta hit it in the center. If you don't, I mean, it's gonna swim crooked. So here's the rig. You know, I've got it, you know, the hook is secured in the head, so it's gonna swim right. Now, if you look, like where I've got these treble hooks dangling, I don't want it any longer than this, you know, because what happens is if that treble hook is trailing back here, it will grab that tail, because these ballyhoo, what's so great about them is they look good in the water, and they're actually like, you know, swimming like this. So it's moving around and it will grab it and it'll make it not swim correctly. Some people hook it in the side, but I think they just look better. I've never had any issues letting them flow like that, but that's why I measure them out. It's a great rig. It's very easy to use. When you drop this in the water, if the hook is secured into the head, you know, I'm gonna drop it in the water a little bit. I'm gonna let it go down at 6 inches or something so I can see it. But, you know, kind of the way I judge it is when I'm looking down in the water off the side of the boat, if it's swimming straight, and, you know, a lot of times you can tell when it's not hooked right, because you see they're dark on top and they got the silver shade down the side. You'll start seeing a lot of flashing of silver. Then you pull it back in, make sure you hooked right. But this rig, to me, is a game changer. It's super easy. There's just almost 99% of the time, you hook it right, you drop it in the water, it's gonna swim straight and it's gonna look great. Thank you guys. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. We'll have more videos. Gonna put one up about a daisy chain that I typically use, and one I've built myself and I keep tweaking. But thank you and good luck.